The Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria have threatened to cripple the activities of states that have refused to implement the 70,000 naira new national minimum wage. President of the association, Sheikh Mohammed, gave the threat yesterday during the association's 5th quadrennial Delegates Conference in Lagos, where he emerged as the new president. According to him, for states not ready to implement the new national minimum wage, let me tell you categorically, it is impossible. We are coming for them. Those were his words. He urged state governments to implement the new national minimum wage to improve the standard of living of their citizens, since the income of state governments have continued to rise following enhanced allocation from the Federal Account Allocation Committee. Now, Mohammed has urged the states could achieve this by reducing wastage and blocking leakages of government funds, advising states to embrace the policy of indexing income to correspond with the rate of inflation. ASCSN new president said the most important priority now is to address the issue of the new minimum wage by constituting a committee to address the consequential adjustment towards implementation and the strategies to ensure workers have a living wage in Nigeria. Earlier, the Secretary General of the Association, Joshua Pebo, argued that following the increase in allocation from the federal account, since the removal of fuel subsidy, the state governors should immediately implement the new national minimum wage to improve the standard of living. One would want to ask, even with the increased allocation, why are state governors still saying that they cannot afford to pay the 70,000 naira minimum wage?
It's very disturbing. Very disturbing, I must tell you. 70,000 naira minimum wage to be paid to civil servants, and some state government are still
on 18,000. They're still paying the previous one before.
Okay,
yes, some state governors did not change.
Exactly. Some didn't get to 35, right?
They did not get to 30.
They were still on 18,000, and then it has graduated from 35 to 70, and some of them are still saying that they are not. For me, I see that as high level of wickedness, you know, to the people, to the masses, the civil servants. Otherwise, what is 70,000 naira compared to? Of course, when the dialogue was going on, I was in my little corner, I was praying. I said, God, Chai, let the president approve 150,000. That was my mindset. That was why I positioned my mind. And finally, there was an understanding, and 70,000 was reached. And some state governments are still saying that they are not comfortable with that, they can't pay. Of course, what the Senior Civil Servant Association said, that's the right thing. They should go after them. They should give them, probably this month, if they fail to implement, they should go after them and cripple their own their income process. Yes, if that can be done.
But let's look at the defense. In the defense of the state governors now, some of them have complained that they are not generating enough in the states, so their IGR is low. Some of them, their IGR is as low as low IGR, according to them, in their defense, when they explained why they might not be able to pay. And then some of them also said that in order to prevent or avoid them laying off some staff, having in mind that they can't pay, instead of laying off some staff and having some people jobless, that state governors should be given the liberty to choose how much they can pay as their minimum wage.
That will be the highest level of financial inconsistency in terms of allowance to civil servant, if that should be approved. For goodness sake, we have a system that is running. We have the federal government, and directive understanding has been reached. If there is any need, a particular state will not be able to pay. I think the federal government should know. The federal government should be aware. The federal government knows how much that goes into states' accounts. And then, believe me, there is no how the federal government would have agreed on 70,000 without taking into cognizance the amount that goes to each state. And then, If a particular state is saying they cannot because of their IGR, I want to ask a simple question. How many essays, how many PAs do commissioners in those states have? You understand the point? How many vehicles, how many official cars do the commissioners have? So those areas should also be considered. If you're saying you're not generating enough, then there will be areas where you need to cut down expenses. To be able, for goodness sake, these persons are working. The civil servants are doing the job. They are working. They are employed by the government. So they should also have a good life. They should have a good life. It's quite disturbing hearing that some states...
So you believe if they cut down on the cost and expense in the states, cost of governance in those states, they'll be able to meet up with the national minimum wage?
Definitely, even without cutting down expenses. Nigerian state has money. I must tell you that from what we see, yes, Nigerian states have money. 70,000 is not too much for a state in Nigeria to pay her civil servant.
All right, let's look at the next one now.